Well, hello and welcome once again to the DCL podcast, where we're inviting you to sit back, relax, and we'll be on our way shortly. Well, welcome back to the DCL podcast, your podcast to help you cruise a little smarter. And I'd like to welcome back to the show all the way down in Florida. How are you doing today, Christy?
Stressed. How are you, Steve?
Stressed too. I got home. I just got off a 3-day trip and we haven't talked in a long time. It's cool to see your face.
It's great to see your face.
Even though it's over Zoom and we're supposed to be getting together at Disneyland this weekend, but that is neither here nor there. But I know that you guys are going to have a great time. So great group of friends getting together, Lake and Katie, Nova and her family and your family as well down at Disneyland. Pretty exciting.
I am super excited about that. And it's much needed. I may have cried into my Jersey Mike's a little bit tonight. They left me a little note appreciating my business. And I was like, ooh. So it's been an emotional day with the Walt Disney World 2024 release and it not working and having to get ready to go on this trip tomorrow. It's been a day. So I enjoy looking at your face right now, Steve.
Well, I can say that actually there's a little girl on our flight from, I got to think about it now, from Las Vegas to Portland today, Goldie. She's in the back and she left us. She made a little handmade picture of a plane and said, thank you for being pilots today and getting me home to my grandma. So thought that was kind of cool too.
That's sweet.
So, Goldie and Jersey Mike's coming through for the win. Who knew?
I'm telling you.
All right, we're going to kick off our May Cabana show. We're going to touch on a bunch of different topics. And to kick it off, Christy, why don't you talk about what everybody has been waiting for, that new Disney Band Plus coming to Disney Cruise Line.
Okay, can I just call it a magic band, though? Because,
sure. But just to be correct for everybody out there, I know
it is Disney Band Plus is the real name because it has something to do with overseas legal stuff. It's a lawyer's fault. It's always the lawyer's fault. So Disney Magic Band Plus, see, just did it, is coming to Disney Cruise Line. Right now, it's only going to be available on the Disney Wish. We don't know yet when it's going to be available on the other ships, although there's some chatter that when the Wonder goes into her dry dock, maybe they'll set up the ship for hers to be next. You never know. Maybe. You order your Disney Band Plus by visiting my reservations on the website between 11 and 45 days of your sale date, if your reservation is paid in full. And there is while supplies last, because, it's Disney, and they'll ship to U.S. addresses only, excluding P.O. boxes and military bases. You can save $10 on your Magic Band before your cruise. If you purchase it in advance, they're going to sell them on the ship because Disney wants to make money for all of those that have FOMO for not buying it. So it looks like the Magic Bands with the $10 off is $35 if you buy it in advance for the really cute designs, or $25 for the basic design. And then the Magic Band can act as your room key. You can charge your treats and souvenirs while on board. And then obviously, just like the ones the kids wore before, it will access the Oceanair Lab and Club while on board and Scuttle's Cove on Castaway Cay. You can link your photographs to your stateroom, which that's just going to be convenient. And then...
Are you going to read that?
No. Steve's point 5 is a little humor. And frankly, if he didn't laugh before I got to it, I probably would have read
it. You can connect with Agent P, Perry the Platypus, in case you run into any nefarious people while you're enjoying your vacation on board Disney Cruise Line, and Perry will come and save the day for you.
I feel like Blake would love that.
Maybe not, but I could dream. I always love Perry the Platypus, so I think that'd be kind of cool thing you could do.
He received one as a gift from some concierge host, when he was 2 years old, and he would walk around with that thing. He had no idea what it was. It's cute. I'm assuming we still have it.
Some weird looking blue stuffy, huh? Yeah.
Exactly.
Or plushy, I mean. What do you think of the designs, Christy?
Okay, so, my family, we just bought Magic Band Plus a month ago because I knew it would work at Disneyland, which we are taking it to work there. And then we could link it up to work on the ship. So I was like, I'm good. I bought these. I picked out cute ones. But did you see them, Steve? They are adorable. There's this one with all the characters and their seaware. And then there were several really cute ones I can't imagine we're not buying one at least or two for our family.
I see you with the character ones, and I see myself with the gray one.
The plain.
The plain looking gray one.
Oh,
but I do like it. I do like it. I like the fact that they got the logo, so and everything
look
else.
At this. Look at there's this blue one with like fireworks and the ship. The gray one is fine. You guys look it up. We looked up and Googled because we needed to get the information. Just Disney Plus band Disney Cruise Line, and the website pops right up. So look it up. But this blue one with the fireworks is adorable. Yeah, that one's going to have to be in our family. I might be able to let Blake buy it, but I want it myself.
I guess I'm looking forward to maybe some specialty ones that they come with for whether the Halloween on the High Seas or Very Merry Time cruises or something like that. So I could see we've got a Very Merry Time. Well, yeah, I guess we got both booked. Halloween on the High Seas and Very Merry Time. Maybe picking up one of those if it's available on the older ships.
Are you going to go from I want plain gray to now I want every design?
I want Jack Skellington is what I really want. So
yeah, you do. You've always wanted Jack Skellington. Okay, so that's exciting.
That is. Anything else about Disney Band Plus then, Christy?
I don't think so.
All right, let's jump into, and I think we're going to read, I won't put the names against it, but some of our Patreon comments for this next one. But we got a really interesting text, email, I guess, post on our Patreon site by Liz, one of our amazing contributors. She's been on the podcast a couple times, and it was a question that she got off from Disney Cruise Line after her latest cruise, where she sailed from San Diego to Vancouver. Am I correct?
Yes.
All right. So I'm just going to read this because it's the easiest way to do. But Disney Cruise Line came out with the questions that she received, which was, of the restaurants listed below, which one would you be most excited to see on a future Disney cruise? So bear with me here. During the hands-on demonstration of the quantum core, something goes deadly wrong, which is where you come into play. What ensues is a series of surprises in all shapes and sizes as this exciting cinematic dining experience unfolds before your eyes. Number 2, try your hand at yeah, Christy's saying down. I kind of agree with you on that. Try your hand at drawing your very own character and then watch and wonder as your creation becomes part of the show, dancing alongside some classic Disney characters you won't believe your eyes. And I think we're going to...
Animator's Palette.
We've already seen that one, right?
But I love it.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, that is a great show that they have. Maybe if they update it, and I'm not sure how they would update it.
Do they even need to? I don't even need an update. I love that show. It could be shorter, maybe. Maybe I'd go with shorter.
I don't know, because it's kind of cool. Because the way it is now, you get to see your character 2 or 3 times. So yeah, it's kind of really nice that they do it 2 or 3 times, just in case you miss it the first time through. So I think we're both kind of are. Chrissy's thumbs down. I'm kind of iffy on the first one. I'll tell you why at the end as far as the quantum core one. Okay, the next one, number 3. Join Winnie the Pooh and Piglet along with Tigger and Eeyore, where they find themselves in a new part of the 100-acre wood and where their adventures leads them to make new friends.
Okay, everybody, I want you, while you're listening to these, give yourselves a thumbs up, a neutral, or a thumbs down. So I've already given myself a neutral to a down. Like, I don't know that I need Tigger and Eeyore on... I mean, I love them, but I don't know that I need them on my Disney cruise personally.
That sounds like a breakfast thing that people should be able to book that are fans of Winnie the Pooh.
Like at Crystal Palace in the Magic Kingdom.
Yeah, that's kind of what it reminds. That's what that one reminds me of. Okay, Mickey and Minnie throw a garden party with their friends, Goofy, Donald, and Daisy, and invite you to join them for a dapper dining experience.
I want to go to this garden party.
I see that, and there's another one coming up eventually that maybe Enchanted Garden could be themed into something like that. I'm going to hold my thoughts on that one until we get to the end here too. All right. Sorry, my phone's acting up here, so I do apologize. This is award-winning radio or podcasting here as we go. During dinner, be immersed in the wonderful world of Mary Poppins and the English countryside from Bert's magical chalk painting. This show stars Mary Poppins, Bert, a 3-piece pearly band, and even a few penguins as we all go on a jolly holiday.
I love me a 3-piece band. So
what does that sound like? Tiana's to me. You got Tiana's, you got the music going, you get, little singing from Mary and Bert, you get some penguins that come out, and maybe the kids and everybody can like dance around with the penguins or go around the room a little bit with the penguins and stuff like that.
Bring it.
Yeah. Once again, maybe that's an idea for Enchanted Garden. Okay. The Mad Hatter and March Hare find Alice and the White Rabbit just in time to meet some new friends who've come to their unbirthday party, including a surprise from the Cheshire Cat.
I mean, here's the thing. Is this what is the right word? IP? That's not the right word, but whatever. That people are like older is not the right word either, but and let me just say, guys, I have had the worst insomnia this week. Like, have not slept more than like 4 hours, I think, almost every night. It's been rough. So the words are just not going to come out. So please give me some grace for that. But like, my kid doesn't really know, kind of, but it has no interest really, right? Has no strong emotional connection to Alice in Wonderland. Does that matter? No. Do even some adults have that strong of a connection to Alice? Some do, but do most? Anyway, you can go on. What are your thoughts? You have had so many faces while I talked too just now.
I've got a final thought. I agree with you. I think that was a real reach. And I know that there are people out there that love Alice in Wonderland and probably would love this, but this is not something that I'm interested in. Okay.
And let me just say really quick, there was that wedding on the Disney, the Disney wedding where they did these amazing weddings. And they did Alice in Wonderland and they did it amazingly. And so it could be super cool. But is it necessary on my cruise?
I just wonder, I guess, to be determined, I guess I wonder what the storyline would be and what the experience would be. I mean, the Mad Hatter is always kind of fun. March Hare is kind of nutty, so you could have fun that way, I guess. But
maybe I kind of wonder what the storyline would be. An adult's like nightclub area, like theme that could be, because it's a little crazy. And if you're going to the nightclub, it's a little crazy.
I still think they need to bring the villains in, but I digress. Okay. Enjoy a lovely dinner as a piano player and violinist play some familiar Disney tunes during your meal. That sounds perfect for Lumiere's, Triton's, the French type restaurant as far as.
Yeah. But we had that during the shutdown or during the COVID restart. Remember how lovely it was in Royal Court and when Royal Court Palace, and we got to like sit and listen to beautiful music when it was empty.
Yes. And once again, I will sum all my stuff up at the end. Okay. During the course of your dinner, the restaurant's sweeping ceiling changes from a brilliant blue daytime and color into the golden red of a setting sun, transforming finally into captivating nighttime constellation of twinkling stars.
I mean, that's Enchanted Garden now, but with a flower that blooms all meal long. But okay, go on. What else? I didn't even read that one.
That's it. And I think most people don't even realize that flower blooms, to be completely honest. So.
There's like a storyline in the ceiling that nobody's following.
Yeah. I mean, I like the concept of that, of like, because we had a wonderful dinner. One of the first dinners Anawake and I had up in Palo was as we sailed out of Juneau and the sun was setting and everything else. And it went from kind of like that day to nighttime setting. So I understand kind of like the theming of that, but what else are you doing with it, I guess? So I think it'd be good ambiance.
Sure. Exactly. Then play your violin music. One of our Patreons said, I don't want a show every night at dinner. Like, I want to actually communicate with the people. And that is the one thing I would say is that with cruising, I always feel like you could do these multi-generational trips because you could come to dinner, you could do whatever you wanted during the day, you can come together for dinner and have a conversation. But if they fill every second or most of the meal with a show, you miss that opportunity to get to know your servers, to have a conversation with the people at your table. And so that's definitely a reason not to. But on the other hand, there's all the people that are like, I need my kid to be entertained. So it's tough, right? That's what's nice about the animator's palette, where they do the different drawings and kids can like stare at the screen, but it's not really making noise. Although there's still always somebody in there with the kids' like iPad on at full volume. Remember, please, people, to take your headphones, that not everybody is like going on the cruise to listen to a cartoon play during their meal. But yeah, I just said a lot.
You did. I guess I would say this. Okay. And there's a couple more questions too, which kind of reiterates although I didn't get all of them from what you had here, but One of them was, I expect entertainment in every, I expect.
So this is a different survey part or a different question now.
Correct. And so the first one was, do you expect entertainment in every Disney Cruise Line restaurant? Do you want entertainment or do you not want entertainment, everyone? I'm happy to see characters passing during dinner. I want to actually have personal character interactions during dinner. What do you want? I prefer background entertainment that does not interfere with my dining experience. I prefer lively entertainment throughout my dining experience. I like to observe from a distance, or I like to be part of the entertainment as it's going on. So like be part of the entertainment, kind of like at the end of Tiana's. I don't want to spoil it. If you haven't been to Tiana's, fast forward 2 seconds or 15 seconds, but they get up and have a big line and everybody gets to dance through the, you don't have to, but it's fun. They put a conga line out there. You can go underneath, what is that called? Like when you got to go down, go low. I can't say it. Holy cow.
Limbo.
Yeah, you do the limbo if you want to. It's not too low. Even I can do it, and I'm getting old. So,
but it's very much like the New Orleans, like walking around for after a wedding type of situation. I actually did that once. So it's that same situation. It's got a name that I can't think of right now.
So, okay, before we wrap this one up, do you think this is replacing restaurants on the Disney Dream and Fantasy?
Well, don't forget we have the Treasure still coming up. And I don't know I'm never good at the guessing games, right? But those are some very different and wide-reaching, the last set of questions that you gave, and that they're going to get all of that feedback. There's going to be a strong population number of people that say, I want no entertainment. And there's going to be a strong number of people that say, I want all the entertainment. And how do they balance that?
Well, that's the question. So let's go over some, and I totally agree. They're looking for information so they can use in either future restaurants. If they retheme any of the ones on the Dream, the Fantasy, even the Wonder and the Magic, that could be a possibility as well. I agree with one of our Patreon supporters who said that they think that the restaurants are, I think that was Liz, that the restaurants are already set for the Treasure, but they're getting feedback for the third Triton class ship, which is yet to be named. But I'll read a couple of the thoughts that our patrons had. One of our guests said, or one of our Patreon supporters said, so the first two exist. The last is kind of Enchanted Garden. Of the rest, give me the piano player and the violinist. To which somebody said, I would love the piano violin one, but I wonder if that's too boring for kids. Kids schmids, they aren't paying.
Oh my God, I gotta go look who wrote that comment.
The piano and violin player existed during COVID restart times, which is what you said. Yeah. Another one of our listeners said, those are some kind of weird options in my humble opinion. I wonder if they are just meant to represent other ideas without giving them away, or actual ideas they're considering. It also makes me wonder if they are trying to cash in on the popularity of Dapper Day with making friends on the one. I think that would be tough because I wonder how many people would really dress up dapper wise.
Oh, but people don't dress up for formal night. And this is like giving people a theme for people who want a theme. Right.
So it's along the pirate night theme. Maybe we catch on. Maybe a lot of people would bring their dapper stuff. Yeah. Frozen.
People would, for sure. And some of us would still, like one of our listeners is in Europe this week, and she posts a picture on Instagram and she's like, yep, it's formal night. No, we don't dress up for a formal night. And that is the one thing I do love about Disney is you can literally show up in your tank top and your shorts and it's totally okay. And if another family wants to show up completely dapper or dressed up, they can as well. So
I feel like these are dry dock options for the Dream and Fantasy for updating Enchanted Garden. That's a possibility. I think that's a good idea there. And then the last one, I love the Mary Poppins idea. I feel like the Alice in Wonderland would be way too chaotic. So I guess my opinion.
It's for the club.
Yeah. I guess my opinion on it is I think that everybody's different. Everybody wants different things. And it's like trying to order a pizza, having 100 people order a pizza or something like that. Everybody's going to have what they think is their perfect pizza. And for me, I think they knock it out of the park the best with Tiana's. They've got some music in the background. They come on, they have a little show. They let you have your quiet time, get your food and everything like that while the music plays in the background. And it culminates with a fun event at the end. And I think that's pretty fun. I think the places where they've had a hard time sometimes is with the Wish with Arendelle with that show, because they have a hard time with the timing with the food coming back and forth, the show going on. And I feel like that is one of those restaurants where the feedback we've gotten is people feel like it's a little chaotic at times. And you don't really get that chance to visit with people, which is what a lot of people want to do on a cruise. That's our family's favorite time to get together and talk. And when the whole time is spent, watching a show, then that gets kind of old. If you do that in every restaurant, 1 or 2 restaurants, I'm fine. But I like the idea of at least one restaurant where maybe they just have a violinist and a piano player playing like really cool Disney tunes. And maybe people are throwing out the Disney tunes they want to hear, maybe challenge them with something that is something a little bit obscure or something. But I guess that's where I go.
Use the crayons again as the entertainment for your kids like that need it, or a tablet that they can draw on, there are certainly options. And they can also bring back taking the kids to the Castaway Club again. Not Castaway Club, Oceaneers Club, where remember they would take the kids halfway through the meal and usher them off. So then the parents could eat their meal. And that was in late dining. I know a lot of people would like that back. You don't need as much entertainment if you take the kids away.
Exactly. And I know all of you out there are probably going to have a lot of different opinions on this that may agree with me or Christy or disagree with this completely. I guess I would say the thing that I'm most against is just adding chaos and noise just to add chaos and noise. Let's think it out and really make sure that whatever entertainment that you're adding is really worthwhile entertainment. And of course they're trying to add that,
Sure.
But I think sometimes
go on.
No, go ahead.
You can tell by those questions that they're getting negative feedback from the Arendelle, because the princesses or the queen, whatever, they walk through, Anna and Elsa walk through the restaurant and they don't engage in each table. They're just present walking through. And so they're getting negative feedback about that. But then the question is, does everybody want all that constant feedback? And so, yeah, tough decisions.
I think they'll come up. This is a total weird segue, but I love what they did with the Galactic Star Cruiser. They took a chance, gave it a shot. A lot of different reasons why it hasn't worked out, and we'll see where it goes in the future. But I love it when Disney takes a chance. But I also appreciate when they take a chance at something, and if it works, tweak it, make it better. Or if it doesn't work, then let's figure it out and move on. So,
yep.
Yeah, I guess that's all we have to say about that. And if you guys have any thoughts or questions, go to the Facebook post on this or the Instagram post when it comes out. And we'd love to hear what your thoughts are on the different restaurants.
Absolutely. And if you want to be a part of our Patreon conversation, join us at Patreon at patreon.com/DCL podcast.
There you go.
And you can join and hang out with us, and really good conversations are in there in that group.
So that took a lot more time than I thought it was going to be, but good discussion there. How about we move on to the new Castaway Club gifts? I have not had a chance to look at all of them.
Okay. So I don't know if you noticed, I was looking at my phone going, I had to look up the gifts because I had them all except for the platinum specific gift. I could not come up with what it was, but I have it now. So Disney Cruise Line came out with new gifts. One of the things and these gifts are for Castaway Club members. You are a part of the Castaway Club once you've completed your first cruise. So everybody who's on a cruise on their second or their 100th cruise get to have these gifts. And based on your level, determines which set of gifts you get. So silver is from 1 to 5 completed cruises. And you receive a new lanyard, and they have the lanyards with this big old Mickey head on it, which is adorable for kids and for people that are really, really supporting their Captain Mickey. So big lanyard, or if you're a lanyard person, and then you get that Castaway Club bag, it's like a beach bag. It's a really nice bag. Then the gold members get the lanyard, the beach bag, and the wet dry bag, which I am very excited about, actually, so that when you're at the end of the cruise or when you're walking from the beach, you can shove, bathing suits or whatever into that bag and it's not getting all over everything else. Love that. The platinum gift, which apparently wasn't as memorable for me because I could not think of it, is the big Mickey head beach towel. they are really into Mickey during this release of Castaway Gifts. And then the Pearl gift, which is over 25 cruises or 25 plus cruises, they get these really cute, like wine-sized carry cups. I'm not sure how we would describe those. Tumblers, little small tumblers. So, and they are like iridescent pink. And I want to be Pearl one day so that I can get a cup.
They're kind of like, they're smaller than the wine ones that you can buy in the stores. I've got one from somebody sent it to me for the New Year's Eve cruise, which they gave away for free.
Those are different.
Are they?
That one that you have, I think, is a different size.
Okay.
I could be wrong, but like this is the size that they gave out for like that Wish preview cruise, and actually Nova and I each got one because we got a 2 set and I gave her one. It's like they're thinner.
Yeah, that's what these are like too.
Right?
Yeah,
okay,
I got
maybe.
one. I got one. So it's thinner. It's not quite as thick as the ones that you normally buy, and just like holds a little bit less, but it's still really cool.
Apparently, you're not supposed to drink so much wine.
Well, those Pearl cruises are getting up in age, and so they've been on so many cruises. They probably shouldn't be drinking that much wine.
Nice. The lanyard, I think I said, but it does change with your Castaway Club levels. So that, has a different color to match your Castaway Club level, your big Mickey head magnet.
I take that back. If you've been on 25 plus cruises, you probably need a bigger one, to be honest, because you've launched your kids. They're on their way to somewhere, and you need to be celebrating that. So.
I think we'll be at 25 at the end of next year.
Oh my gosh.
My kid will be.
Blake is not getting launched between now and then. So, all right, I take that back.
He is not.
If you are launching him, it's for other reasons besides him moving on to college. We all feel that way sometimes, right? All right. So cool gifts. I'm just gonna say this is my own personal opinion. I'm not a huge merch guy. I'm not overly excited about the 25th merchandise that they've shown that they have.
Because they came out with nothing.
Yeah. And then you see the pictures of people like in line crowding each other out as soon as the stores open on the first day. I think these Castaway Club gifts are the best thing you're going to get. Plus, you get that really cool Captain Mickey, unfortunately. Sorry, Captain Minnie fans, but the lithogram, right?
Oh, right. Well, that's for the 25th anniversary.
Yeah. So kind of cool. All right, let's move on. Castaway Club benefits. We're talking about that. For those reaching Pearl status, 25 or more have begun. And correct me if I'm wrong, Christy, but the main thing is tiered check-in has started again. So when you get ready to check in for your cruise, based on your Castaway Club status is when you're going to be able to start booking things. 40 days right now prior to cruising for Pearl and Concierge.
So this is the 30-day check-in, basically.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's the previous 30-day check-in. So, but likewise, Pearl and Concierge get to book their cruise activities earlier as well.
Yeah.
And then they get to book their cruises earlier once they're released now going forward. And they get to book their activities, and they get to book their 30-day check-in now occurs at 40 days before.
So this is the time when you would be checking in, putting your passport information, and then also picking the most important thing really is your port arrival time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Pearl and Concierge 40 days prior to cruising can pick it. Can check in. Platinum 38 days prior, gold 35, silver 33, and first time cruisers are 30, I believe.
That's correct.
Okay.
And let's just put this out there because this is sort of newish. Again, if you are doing the Royal Gathering, and the Royal Gathering is a no-cost ticketed event to see a lineup of the princesses. It's like a 15-minute or a half an hour chunk where you do have to stand in line still, but you get to do a meet and greet with 5 princesses, and you basically move from princess to princess to princess. So you're not standing in 5 separate lines throughout your cruise. You're jamming it all in to one morning typically. So that check-in or that request for tickets is now in this 30-day to 40-day tiered check-in. So hopefully that makes sense to people.
We're going to talk about this in a little bit, but the Encanto experience on the Magic.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know when you booked that? Is that
I don't
them
think
too?
you book it. I think you just show up.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
With that, we'll talk about that in just a second. Chris, you want to talk about what they announced today, or what they didn't announce it? They just changed it. And now we're able to see on our Castaway Club for Castaway Club members, your previous what?
Yeah, your previous cruises. And almost more importantly to me, you can see your folio. So if you've just gotten off a cruise, so here's another pro tip, and I have just scrolled through the rest of this sheet. We have a ton of topics. We might have to cut some out. But if you're on a Disney cruise, they've now changed it where, and this has like been since the restart, I think, or sometime in the middle of it, where they're not giving you your folio. So your list of charges, you have to download them yourself from the app. And I went on 12 cruises during that restart, or 10. And I only remember to download mine once. So now, and you used to have to like email Disney and they were like, oh, you were supposed to download it. Like they literally tell you that. We're knowing, but you could just email it to us. And I'll point out, I'm on my rant now, that when I stayed at the Riviera for a staycation last weekend, they emailed me my charges when I checked out. So if they can email like 33,000, I don't know how many there are, but guest room folios at the end of each stay, I feel like they can email the however many thousands of cabins are on a ship. Okay. So, or hundreds. I don't know what the math is there, but you can now, within a reasonable amount of time, it's like 60 days or 90 days after your cruise, pull up your previous folio so that when you are like me and forget to download it, you can have it. You can also see all the cruises that you've sailed on and apparently your stateroom, which that's really cool, actually, what your stateroom category is. And that also is cool because I don't exactly remember how many times I've been on which ship. So I'm excited to go in there and see that.
No,
ooh, that was a lot.
it was.
I just said a lot. Sorry.
No, and yeah, so I'm glad that they've added this back. Sometimes, you get a stateroom and you go, what was that stateroom we stayed at, which we really enjoyed? And then you could go back and take a look at it. Christy, do you use any other apps? Because I started using Shipmate. So that's an app to keep track of cruises that you've been on. So you can keep track of all the different cruise lines you've been on.
So I did a while back purchase like a countdown app. And in that countdown app, it doesn't tell me which ship I've been on, but it could go through, like if I've added it, it'll tell me all of my trips. But I have definitely really failed to keep that up to date.
Well, Shipmate's kind of cool. It's free. You don't have to pay for it. You can put in your past cruises, you put in future cruises, and the future cruises that it knows. Like I pulled up one that we've got booked coming up, and you go day by day, and it'll show you like the port you're going into, and then it'll give you reviews that people have put in on that, and then also pictures.
How do they do that? So you just put in the date of your cruise, and it populates the rest of the information?
Yeah, you pick the ship. I think you pick the ship, and then you can put in the date. It'll come up with the dates that it's got loaded as far as like all the different cruise lines to sailing. So then you pick your cruise, and then it knows it generally, and it's pretty good. Sometimes it's not exactly correct as far as the times go, but it'll show you day by day your different ports you're going to, and then you can go back and look at your past cruises. Kind of the same thing.
That's very cool. So that is actually very cool.
Yeah, and they send you a bunch of emails too if you want, trying to get you to like book excursions with them. Of course, you can always turn that off if you want, but yeah, it's kind of a cool app. Chad uses it as well, so I think it's kind of cool.
Awesome.
All right, let's move on to the Disney Magic. Disney Magic, everybody's favorite ship, right? No?
Chrissy, I just talked to somebody. I just talked to somebody yesterday, and the Disney Magic is her favorite ship. And I thought of you, Steve.
I love the Magic. So the Disney Magic has completed her dry dock and has begun sailing Bahamian along with Eastern and Western Caribbean itineraries out of Miami. And how weird is it to see the Magic in Miami and the Dream in Europe?
It is. It's needs to go back, I think. Potentially.
It's not going to go next year, but
no,
it may at some point go back. I don't know. We'll see how these bookings go. A little tough this year, I think, for some of the European bookings. Airfare is just ridiculous trying to get to Europe. So how many people have we heard that said, oh, I would go over there and do that in a heartbeat, but the airfare is like ridiculous.
Yep.
Especially for a family for it. Okay, the Disney Magic came out of dry dock. I'll let you talk about the concierge spaces, but 2 new onboard experiences were put on board her after she came out. featuring new Encanto and soul themed entertainment on board. With Encanto, it's called an Encanto celebration. The experience is going to combine music, crafts, and storytelling, as well as a meet and greet with Mirabel and Bruno, even though we don't talk about Bruno, I guess. He's going to be there anyways. Guests will participate in an Encanto sing-along. Christy, I know you always like a good sing-along. Create flower. You and me both. Create flower and butterfly crafts. And this is where you and I would be sipping on a selection of local Colombian beers, cocktails, sodas, and maybe a few film-inspired mocktails. Do you know how we can book this? He said it's not a bookable experience.
We had a listener tell me, and unless you book it on board, it's not something you pre-book. Like they didn't even have any information about it. It's in like the D Lounge. Whatever that space is, because is it the D Lounge on all of those 4 ships? But I think you just show up. Go on to talk about the Soul Cat Lounge, and I will look this up.
So if anybody knows, if you've been on the Magic recently, and if you just show up and experience this, look for it in the app and make sure you highlight it and start. And I would say probably show up early, because like anything new like this, people are going to want to show up and try and do.
For sure.
Okay. Also, where the Promenade Lounge used to be, they have now turned that into the new Soul Cat Lounge. It takes the place of the old Promenade Lounge on deck 3 next to Lumiere's. This space is modeled after Joe Gardner's favorite music spot from the movie Soul, in the film known as the Half Note Lounge. It's going to offer jazz music, a dance floor, and some subtle nods at the beloved film. Look for Joe's hat and jacket in that space somewhere, which I think that's kind of cool. They put that in the space. So
yeah, but you've seen the pictures, right? It's definitely like they ran out of time or money or creativity when they just put a pizza shop, when they took like some old TV show inspired pizza shop and were like, here you go.
Well, I'm excited for the fact that one of the things that Anawake and I have really kind of gravitated towards is live music. So any place where they offered live music there before, we love jazz. So someplace that's going to showcase some jazz music and like that for people to experience live music while on the ship. I think that's kind of a cool space. It's gotten a lot of good reviews. People are generally thumbs up that have sailed on it and said it's a great space. In addition to that, the ship's concierge spaces have been upgraded as well. Look for some tropical Moana theming in the concierge lounge. Plus, they've added an additional outdoor seating deck, which has been added, giving guests even more room to relax. In addition to that, all concierge suites have been upgraded with new designs, fixtures, furnitures, art, and more. Christy, any thoughts on the concierge upgrades? Have you heard anything?
Yeah. So when it came out of dry dock, they were still doing construction on many of those cabins. We had a listener on that was sending us lots of updates, and we actually posted pictures on our DCL podcast Instagram page, so you can go check those out. The lounge is incredible, and I do love the color scheme, that all these hotels are doing with the more muted colors in the concierge cabins. So I feel like they've made really pretty choices. This lounge is, besides the Wish, because that's its own little experience, but this lounge is possibly the best now. So like the difference is it doesn't have the outdoor space that the Wonder has. And of course she's like changed the footprint of the view over the adult only pool. But it's a really nice size lounge.
Well, it says they added an additional outdoor seating deck.
Oh, so maybe it's on the other side.
Yeah. So they do have outdoor seating now on the Magic as well, just like the Wonder.
Which they should.
Yeah. And after being on the Bliss and kind of taking in the lounge that they have there in the front of the ship and everything like that, boy, if you could sit up there, especially like for you coming up to Alaska here, if the weather's not quite so nice and have that space where you've got those big windows like you're going to have on the Wonder, that's a definite plus there.
Yeah, we're pretty excited.
Well, we made it through all our topics here, Christy, believe it or not. So
I'm surprised because that list went on. You did a good job. Thank you, Steve.
Well, we talked fast. So covered a bunch of different things. If you have thoughts on the restaurant ideas, we'd love to hear it. They're just throwing stuff out there right now to see what sticks, see what people's opinions are. and we all have different opinions. So I'd love to hear yours. Christy, you are leaving tomorrow for your big vacation in June. Going to be sailing on the Disney Wonder up to Alaska. What are some of the highlights you're looking for?
So I am excited to go see friends at Disneyland, actually, to start off our trip. So that is pretty exciting for us. And it's been 5 years since we've been to Disneyland. It's also been 5 years since we've been to Alaska. My son does not have any memories of our trip when he was 5. And so I'm excited to get him up there to remember it at least a little bit more now, obviously. And we are sailing concierge. We were able to use our Wish cancellation 50% off coupon for this. And so that made it a price that was very reasonable. And I mean, reasonable is all relative, right? But it was something that we could choose to do. So we're very excited to relax. My work everywhere has been crazy. And I just want to say also, thank you for all the support from our listeners at DCL Podcast. I just love when I get, new emails and calls from potential clients that say, I listen to your podcast, I'd like to book with you. I really appreciate that. And it's just now I'm going to go and I'm going to take this, it's almost 2 weeks, it seems like, off weekend, more than a week and a half. And we are going to relax. And I am very much looking forward to that. Plus, all the excursions in Alaska are absolutely amazing. So I hope, there's been a lot of cancellations. So I hope that they actually happen.
Yeah, look at the weather up there. It looks like it's going to be a little rainy possibly next week, but 30% chance of rain. So that's not too bad. It's not like it's going to be raining the whole day.
And some of the time it wasn't raining during the day. It was actually at nighttime or very early in the morning. And so that's totally fine. We are prepared. I mean, I don't prefer to be soggy, but we are prepared if we are. We will not let that rain on our parade.
No rain nor snow nor whatever will stop you from traveling to Alaska. I love it. And if you guys haven't been to Alaska, in all honesty,
oh my God,
don't be afraid to take your kids, because there's so many cool experiences you can have up there. I can't wait to hear all about Blake's thoughts as he gets to do a bunch of different things up there. A lot of fun, different things that you can do in each and every one of the ports. Not to mention, just being able to see the sights up there. It's just beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm very excited. And
don't be afraid.
Sorry, go on.
No, I was just gonna say, don't be afraid to, if that's your jam, don't be afraid to do that as a first cruise or a second cruise or whatever else. So,
like you, that was your first Disney cruise.
It was crazy. Yeah.
With your little kids.
Yeah. Little kids. I know.
They were little then.
They were, that was their first cruise. And I think Alex was 5. So he fell asleep during one of the dinners, I think day 6 or something like that. But just had a great time meeting sled dog puppies. And I know that you guys are going to get a chance to do that, right? Am I right?
Yeah, that's the goal. We have to take a helicopter to do the tour that we've selected, and they've been getting canceled a lot. So I'm fingers crossed that they happen. You guys can put the goodwill out there for us so that we can do that. Cause I think doing it on the snow would be very cool. Otherwise, I'm hoping that maybe if Disney offers us one that we can just go to if ours gets canceled, we will do that, where it's just not on the snow, but on a cart type of thing with the dogs. We still want to do that. Or get off the ship and see who's going to sell us some excursion, because I think, we would all be bummed if we have to miss that one.
Yeah, I totally understand that. So if they cancel, what does Disney do if they cancel an excursion like that? Could you talk through that just real quick?
Yeah. So listener David was just on last week, and he actually had his helicopter excursion canceled. And they basically said, here are all of the other excursions you can do. And actually, one other time, I think his excursion was canceled as well. So 2 excursions, it was actually on that cruise for him and his family. And, they once again said, look in the app, here's all the excursions that you could book. And he ended up booking something the second time. I think the first time they decided to watch The Little Mermaid and things like that. So the second time, though, they were like, we need to do an excursion. And so they did something that they said was absolutely fantastic. They had a great time. So you just never know. But if your heart was set on something like seeing slug dog puppies and they tell you can't, that's hard to pivot from, but you have to. Like, that's just something that can happen.
Yeah, it's just part of travel. Sometimes you have to kind of roll with the punches sometimes. So a lot of people, I know Zach's heading to Alaska still. You guys are going to Alaska. A lot of other listeners are heading up to Alaska. Just want to wish you and the family all the best, Chrissy, as you head up to the north. How can the people follow along with your travels?
I will be posting a lot on my personal Instagram because that's my habit to do. So that is Pack Your Pixie Dust. And then I will post to DCL podcast as well. And then I know that you and I will communicate when I have cell service. The cellular service has been really bad so far this year in Alaska. And the Wonder is still using megabytes for their Wi-Fi. So there probably will be limited communication for those first couple of days, like getting in where I can and uploading a thing or two when I can, but knowing that it's, via megabyte and that everything takes 1 million megabytes, we'll see what happens. But I will definitely be posting and hopefully answering all your questions afterwards as well. And we're going to do snippets. Perfect. So Dave and I will record snippets during our trip.
A lot of good feedback on the snippets. People like that, just like kind of firsthand experience sort of stuff coming back, and then helps them kind of plan their vacations as well. So you'll be doing snippets, and hopefully you said Lake and Katie are going to possibly be doing snippets as well. So on their Norwegian cruise.
Yep. They're going on your same ship, right? The Bliss?
Yep. The Bliss.
So, and they are going to focus on the excursions that they're taking. And then, guys, I'm so tired. And then they're going to focus like on some overview opinions of Norwegian, like as of now versus, their experiences on DCL. So we're going to make it a little bit broad, not like super specific to Norwegian, but also giving feedback on excursions because we are all picking different things. And that's how you learn what to take.
Exactly. So I guess we'll wrap it up. Our family's heading out in, just under 2 weeks now. I can't believe it. We're going to be headed over to Europe. Yeah, we're heading to Paris. We're going to do Disneyland Paris for a couple of days. I know that Doug and his family are actually there today. They were here today at Disneyland Paris. So he showed some pictures, which is exciting. And then we'll be heading down to Rome to do a 7-night cruise through the Greek Isles. Really excited about that.
So cool.
Some things that we're hearing from our Facebook group. We did a guarantee cabin. We just got our cabin a couple of days ago. I'm pretty happy with it. Deck 6.
You have 2 cabins though.
Yeah, we have 2 cabins.
And did they connect them?
Yep, they connected them. Deck 6. So nice.
Which is not a guarantee. But if you link your guaranteed reservation with another guaranteed reservation, they will try to link them. It is not guaranteed. And if you don't want yours linked, like let's say you're going with friends and you don't really want a connecting door with your friends, then you can ask Disney over the phone, you or your travel agent, to link for dining purposes only and not for cabins. And they can do that, like dining and excursions. This way, you don't have a connecting cabin. Like, I think you and I did that, Steve, on a cruise. We were both like, we love each other, right? This is a great relationship, but we don't need a connecting door in the middle of both of our families for our cruise. So you can link and say, yeah, we still want to sit together for dinner, but we don't, or whatever. We wanted to do excursions, not even dinner, but we didn't want to do the other things. So you have lots of possibilities.
So just a couple of things that we've been hearing. We're probably not going to get bag tags, is my guess, because
I didn't get them.
And so a lot of people are not getting their bag tags over to Europe, especially if you're doing a guarantee. So what ends up happening is when you get to the port, you're going to have to get in line. What they were doing in Barcelona, and this is just one report, was it was a long line of about 100 people waiting to get their bag tags.
But that was in the beginning. Everything, the first cruise is always a disaster, like in terms of stuff like that.
I agree. And I was going to say that too. This was the very first cruise out of Barcelona for this year. It's a bigger ship, a lot more people. So pack your patience, pack your pixie dust, pack your patience. And you probably have to wait in line, get a bag tag. Their recommendations. Here's a couple of recommendations for Europe. Bring a Sharpie or some kind of pen so you can write your own room on that, because you're going to get a white bag tag so you can write it on. It'll help speed up the process. Maybe you can just go up. What they did was they just walked up and said, hey, can I get to the bag tags, rather than waiting in line to use the pen. Smart. So they were able to do that.
And you're not touching that pen.
Yes. Number 2, print out your port arrival form with the QR code, because last year, remember that in Greece, or in Rome, a lot of people didn't have cell service, and the Wi-Fi was really bad. So they had to connect to the Wi-Fi, which they couldn't connect to get their port arrival form. So make sure that you have your port arrival form printed out, or like us, we use T-Mobile. I'm not advocating T-Mobile, but T-Mobile, we had cell service. So we were able to do that. And that got us in front of a lot of people that were trying to download their stuff off the Wi-Fi.
Yeah. And sometimes the system goes down. So that cruise that David was on to Alaska, the first dining people weren't able to pull up their dining rotations because the app went down, and Disney puts the dining rotations in the app only. And so the line for guest services was like 100 people deep or something.
Yeah, kind of crazy.
More. So, yeah.
So a little bit of chaos in that first thing sailing out of Barcelona. We haven't heard anything about Civitavecchia yet, but hopefully we're not on the first one. So hopefully they seem to figure it out as they kind of go along.
They do.
So, and then the other thing we're hearing is that, and I know this from my brother, he was just over in Portugal. He went to Portugal last year, same time. And he said there's twice as many people there this year as there were last year. We're hearing that the cities are crowded. If you haven't booked things, it's getting hard to book things over there. So especially if you're going later in Europe, you might have a chance to be able to book something. But if you're going the next couple of weeks, don't think that you're going to get over there. Maybe book something once you get over there, as far as like city tours or that type of stuff. It's very crowded over this year, it sounds like. And
it is so crowded. I've seen pictures of all of these different cruises, and it is packed with people. One person already reported to I don't know if it was a travel agent. It must have been a travel agent that reported it, that their client's backpack was taken in Barcelona. So always watch out for pickpocketers, even if it's the stealing your bag variety. So, lace it through your legs if it's putting under your table. Don't leave your cell phone on the table sitting there, because people will distract you and they will run off with your bag and your passports, and that's not very fun. And to the point, go on.
No, there's all kinds of bags too for men and women that you can buy. Just go online and look for like kind of, I'm trying to find the right word for it, like locking wallets or whatever, bags that you can wear underneath your clothes. You can put stuff in that thieves aren't able to cut or whatever else. So, just be a little proactive and be aware of where you are, with your surroundings. If there's a lot of people, just be on your best, and do not ever take anything from somebody. That you'll see people like where they try and hand stuff to you to either distract you, or just once you got it, then they're trying to get you to pay for it. And they'll do it to kids too. Maybe talk to
the worst to the kids.
Yeah.
And they'll just try to distract your kids so that you're distracted so they can take your stuff. Fortunately, I don't think they're doing it as much to take your kids, but no matter what, you gotta watch it all.
It sounds terrible over there, but it's not as bad as you think. It's
fabulous.
But just be smart.
Everywhere, right? Yeah. There's stuff everywhere.
Just be smart.
The passports are taking even longer than the long. And remember the episode you did last year about Wake being able to call 2 weeks before the cruise? It is now down to like 6 days that you can call before. It's 6 or 10 days before the cruise that you can call. I think it's 10, actually. I'm not sure. 6 or 10, whatever it is. My client just is emailing me because her passport hasn't come in. We are hearing reports that if you write to your senator, they make you fill out a form and then they try to expedite it. And people have been getting their passports that way. But, you really, if your passport is expired and you're taking a cruise this year, you need to pay the expedited fee.
So a lot of topics there. I guess, don't be afraid to pivot. If it gets really crowded, we're going to the Louvre, and we've already decided that if the Louvre is just crazy, we've got an audio tour booked and it's just nuts with wall-to-wall people. Well, we may go find something else to do. If your heart's set on the Louvre, I do apologize for that, but we're not afraid to pivot and go and find something else to do while we're over there. So just, make lemonade out of lemons, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So
absolutely.
Well, we touched on a lot of different things, Christy. I am excited for you and your family to go to Alaska. Can't wait to follow along. Once again, pack your pixie dust over on Instagram. We'll try and add it to our stories. I know that Amber will do a good job of that with our Instagram, and I'll try and tag some stuff into the Facebook groups as well.
Yeah, and we can share from one to the other, which is really nice too. And you do the same, Steve, when you're in Greece.
Definitely.
That'll be super fun. You're always good at updating us, which is fun.
So if anybody wants to use you as a travel agent, Christy, where can they find you?
Reach out to me at Christy@packyourpixiedust.com. That is my email address. My email will be in the show notes. And again, if you are using a travel agent, we are always very supportive of you keeping your own travel agent. And just remembering that if you don't use one, Disney is just taking that money, or they could pay a travel agent and you can pay the same price, which is good.
Well, safe travels, Christy, to you and the family as you guys head out tomorrow. And for all of you out there, if you're heading out on a Disney cruise, heading out on Adventures by Disney, get ready for a Run Disney event coming up here. They've got the virtual events running in this summer, which I think are already sold out, but they had some really cool medals this year. Or if you're just hanging out with family and friends in the local area, on behalf of myself, Steve, and Christy here, and Nova down at Disneyland, wherever she is.
She was going to join us, but I think she got wrapped up with Lake and Katie and her family. So
yeah, they're probably on the Haunted Mansion spinning around trying to find the Hatbox Ghost or something like that. But on behalf of all of us here at the DCL Podcast, we want to wish you to be well. Enjoy your time with family and friends this summer, and we'll see you next time on the DCL Podcast. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
The DCL Podcast is not affiliated with the Disney Cruise Line, Walt Disney Company, Adventures by Disney, or Run Disney. All of the opinions expressed on our shows are those of the hosts and the guests who appear on the show. If you have any questions about any of these products, please contact the Walt Disney Company.